common when it comes down to how the real world's going to treat you. Sorry, not sorry, but that's just not how the real world works.
The meaning of guys has changed over time. According to the Washington Post, etymologists believe it began in the 17th century with a guy named Guy Fawkes, a participant in the failed 1605 gunpowder plot. He only barely escaped a brutal execution by jumping off a scaffold and breaking his neck. For the next few centuries, those who likened him in fashion, appearance, or intellect were referred to as guys. Eventually, according to the Boston Globe, the term broadened to describe creepy people, then to a generic term for men, and now, some would say, a gender-neutral phrase.
Oh, great. Now we're getting a really horrible history lesson from these people about, well, I can't say guys, about Guy Fawkes. That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to do on my beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Awesome. I love how they say, some would say, a gender-neutral phrase, as if almost everyone doesn't use the phrase. I don't think I've ever heard nobody ever use it. Like, literally almost everyone I've ever met ever, including almost every female I've ever met, has said you guys, regardless of who they're talking to. I've seen females speak to all female groups and say you guys. So I don't understand like what the big deal is here. Like where I think maybe you're making a bigger deal out of nothing than, what the problem actually is here. Or of course, maybe the 99.9% of people here who actually don't see a problem with this very innocent phrase that you've even admitted there is actually no real harm behind, they're actually the ones who have the problem, and you're the one who, even though you're the only person here seeing the problem, you're the one in the right, and we're all the wrong ones here. Yeah, that's the one that most likely makes the most sense, right?
For decades, we have set a standard of only addressing the men in the room. Of course,
It's my moral imperative to doubt until evidence is forthcoming. You wouldn't put somebody in jail just because somebody accused them of murder, nor would you put them in jail just because somebody accused them of theft, nor would you put them in jail because somebody accused them of any other crime. So why should accusations of rape be held to a different standard? This really isn't a difficult concept to understand, and it both baffles me and disturbs me how often I see feminists failing to grasp this. For people who claim to fight for social justice, you really don't understand how justice works, do you? See, a man who is accused of rape will have his life ruined. That's not even only if he is convicted. The mere accusation is enough to cost him his job, his relationships, his education and career prospects, his home, his reputation, and so on. If a woman wants to ruin a man's life, all she has to do is accuse him of raping her, and he will be put through the ringer by law enforcement and the media, and even if he was found not guilty, damage will have already been done, and the woman who made the false accusation will get away scot-free. Really, it astonishes me that even after what happened at Duke and the University of Virginia that you're still asking this question. Furthermore, feminists have abused the word rape to the point where it's lost all meaning. Everything is rape. It's gotten to the point where if a woman claims she was raped, I have to wonder if she means a guy actually forcibly put his penis in her, or if she had consensual sex and just decided to call it rape when she decided she regretted it the next morning, or if she's merely complaining that a guy looked at her in a way that made her feel uncomfortable. I mean, what even is rape at this point? According to some feminists, it's rape if a man changes positions during sex without forewarning. It's rape if your boyfriend breaks up with you because you cheated on him. It's rape if you overhear somebody calling somebody else a slut.
I got raped when my mother called someone else's daughter a slut.
Really, it's your own damn fault that people are becoming increasingly reluctant to believe rape accusations because you have expanded the definition so broadly that nobody even knows when you're really talking about rape anymore. You did this, you asked for it, and now you have buyer's remorse. Now let me pose a question to you. Why is it your first instinct to doubt when a man says he was sexually violated or raped by a woman?
Why do you assume a woman's angry because she's on her period?
Because women get angry when they're on their period. It's a scientific fact that the hormonal changes a woman experiences during her period cause her to become irritable. This is called premenstrual syndrome, or PMS. However, I don't always assume a woman is angry because she's on her period. If your boyfriend thinks that, maybe it's because you're not being straightforward with him and expecting him to be a mind reader. Maybe you should try telling him why you're angry. Ever thought about that? Ever thought about simply telling him that you're mad that he ate the last Klondike bar or whatever trivial bullshit you're getting your panties in a twist over? Oh, he should be able to just figure it out. Yeah, like you should be able to figure out the answers to these stupid questions you're asking.
Why do you think women that wear makeup are false advertising? We can say the same thing about your dick size.
You actually answered the question yourself. We consider it false advertising for the same reason that you think a man who stuffs the crotch of his pants is false advertising. If you cover up all your pimples and scars with makeup, you can't really be surprised when he's taken aback upon discovering that you don't really look the way you did when you first met. I mean, like you were lied to. If you met a guy who looked well dressed and drove a nice car, but then you found that he got his clothes at Goodwill and he rented that car with his Burger King salary.
Why isn't it weird that there's a bunch of old white men sitting in a room making legislation about what I can and can't do with my body?
Wasn't it a room full of old white men who decided the Roe v. Wade ruling? You know, women have had the right to vote for almost 100 years now, and polling data has found that women are more likely to vote than men, and yet these old white men keep getting elected. I see a lot of you people supporting Bernie Sanders even though he looks pretty fucking old and white to me. Go figure. Furthermore, why does it even matter that they're white? Why does the melanin level matter more than the merit of their ideas? Wasn't it Martin Luther King Jr. who once said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin but by the content of their character"? For as much as you people like to accuse others of being racist, you sure do judge people based on their race a lot. Oh, but it's not racism when you do it because of power structures or some other mental gymnastics bullshit, right? As if whether or not the prejudice somebody's being subjected to is institutionalized makes any difference to them when it happens. Fuck off. Racism is racism, regardless of who's doing it to whom. Calling it something other than racism doesn't change the fact that's fucking racism, and the only people who think otherwise are racists like you. This mentality that only certain people can be racist hinges on the categorization of people based on their ethnicity and the ascribing of attributes to them such as privilege based on those racial categories. You have to make judgments based on race to make this argument work. You have to make assumptions and generalizations.
All right, let's begin the playthrough. Let's start it. Why don't we? What? Fuck. I've actually never played this game before. Oh, but yeah, I gotta change my stream metadata. Wait, fuck. Oh, God. Wait, hold on. I don't have any images. Fuck. Oh my God. Wait, shit. You know what? Let's fucking make a new thumbnail right now. Alright. Shit. Fuck. What do I draw? I guess I'll draw what I titled the stream. Let's just get a gray background. You know, let's get a gray background going. And then let's darken this a little bit. Then let's add a little, this is the floor. And then this is the walls of the cave. You know what I'm saying? Then this is the ceiling. This all blends together, but it doesn't really fucking matter. Let's make it a little darker. And then let's add some stalactites. Alright, let's get some water running here. Let's get some water dripping here. Because this is a cave, showing it that it's a damp, humid cave, alright? And let's get the little kids in question. Let's make this one black because I feel like that'd be kind of funny. Yeah, it's good. Actually, I feel like he's not dark enough. Alright, yeah, that's he's like convincingly black now. Oh, what they had to make his upper lip like realistic. Yeah. There we go. And then let's add a little midget here. Let's add a really tall guy. He's like making some weird face, and the stalactite's like fucking destroying his head. Alright, this is a good painting. I like this. Alright, let's change the thumbnail. Alright, let me stop and start the stream again. Oh wait, fuck. I gotta disable the shit, don't I? Hold on.